Picture an HOA so ruthless, they'd fine you for sneezing too loud. I'm Mike, an Iraq vet turned suburban gladiator just trying to fish with my nephew Tommy, my pint-sized partner in crime. Ever had a Karen turn your chill day into a bureaucratic nightmare? Buckle up, because this one's a doozy. I moved to Willow Creek Estates dreaming of quiet days and big fish, but instead I got Nancy Pritchard, the HOA's self-anointed empress, ready to tax my happiness. What started as a simple fishing trip with a kid who thinks I'm Superman ended with a $500 0-cents fine and a war I didn't see coming. Nancy thought she'd squash me like a bug, but she's about to learn this vet's got more fight than her rule book can handle. Got your own HOA horror story? Drop it in the comments. Let's laugh at the madness together. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because tomorrow we have another in. 3 years ago, I planted roots in Willow Creek Estates, a Michigan suburb that promised peace after 2 tours in Iraq. I'd bounced around IT security gigs, dodging bullets and bad bosses, and I was done. The realtor sold me on Lake Willow, a shimmering gem where fish practically begged to be caught. It was my slice of heaven, a place to rebuild after the chaos of war. My nephew Tommy, a 10-year-old with a grin bigger than his dreams, sealed the deal. Tommy's been hounding me for a fishing trip since he got his new rod, a birthday gift I splurged on. "Uncle Mike, we gonna catch a shark?" he asked, eyes sparkling like he'd already won the Bassmaster Classic. I chuckled, "Only if it doesn't charge us rent first, kid." That got a giggle and we were off, his rod swinging like a knight's sword. I figured it'd be a perfect Saturday. Me teaching him to cast, him soaking up every word like I'm the coolest guy alive. I wasn't just fishing, I was building memories, the kind that stick with a kid forever. Little did I know, our day was about to crash into the HOA's iron fist, and I'd be fighting for more than just fish. We're at Lake Willow, rods ready, when a throat-clearing cough hits like a warning siren. I turn, and there's Nancy Pritchard, the HOA's queen bee, arms crossed like she's guarding Fort Knox. Behind her lurks Carl, a rent-a-cop who thinks he's Clint Eastwood but looks more like a mall Santa playing Rambo. Nancy's voice drips with that fake sweetness that makes your skin crawl. "Mr. Wilson, didn't you read the signs? Fishing's banned as of 2 weeks ago." I'm baffled. Signs? What signs? All I see is no swimming after dark. She smirks, her lips curling like a viper ready to strike. The board passed a new rule for wildlife preservation. That's a $500 0-cents fine payable in 30 days. $500 for fishing with my nephew? I'm about to lose it. But Tommy's watching, whispering, "Uncle Mike, are we in trouble?" My heart cracks. I keep my cool, saying, "Nancy, I got no email, no notice. Fishing's been fine since I moved here. It's why I bought this place." She snaps, "Rules change, Mr. Wilson. Check your spam folder." Carl steps up, hand on his utility belt like he's busting a cartel. "Sir, pack up and leave, or it's more fines." Nancy adds, "Stay informed next time, Mr. Wilson." Her tone smug enough to curdle milk. I'm seeing red, thinking, $500 0-cents for a fish? I'd rather arm wrestle a shark. Tommy's face falls, his rod drooping like a broken dream. I grab our gear, muttering, "Let's go, buddy," while Nancy stands there gloating like she's just won an Oscar for tyranny. Her parting shot, "I expect prompt payment," echoes as we walk away, Tommy's hand trembling in mine. I'm fuming, my blood boiling, hotter than a desert sun. Nancy didn't just fine me, she stole Tommy's joy, turned his big day into a lesson in adult nonsense. Dropping him off at James's place, I see his disappointment, and it's like a punch to the gut. "I'm sorry, buddy," I say, kneeling to his level. "Some grown-ups are dumber than a bag of hammers. We'll fish again, I promise." "No Karens allowed." He nods, but his smile's gone, and that's what hurts most. Driving home, I grip the wheel so tight my knuckles go white. This isn't about $500 0-cents. It's about Nancy's smug power trip, her fake wildlife excuse, the way she humiliated me in front of a kid who thinks I hung the moon. I've faced insurgents and deadlines, but this suburban dictator's got me rattled. Why ban fishing now, after years of it being fine? Why the sneaky rule change with no warning? Something smells fishier than a bait bucket, and it's not the lake. Nancy's acting like she owns Willow Creek, but I'm no pushover. I've stared down worse than her clipboard and lived to tell the tale. This fine's a slap to my soul, and I'm not paying it. Not without a fight. Tommy deserves his fishing day, and I deserve answers. Nancy Throne's looking mighty shaky, and I'm ready to give it a nudge. Lying awake at 2 a.m., I'm replaying Nancy's smirk, her stay-informed jab burning like a bad tattoo. This isn't about fish. It's about power, and she's drunk on it. I'm done being her peasant. I'm gonna crack her rule book like it's a piñata and see what spills out. Nancy thinks she's untouchable, ruling her petty kingdom with Carl as her loyal lapdog, but she's about to meet a vet who doesn't back down. I'm not just a guy with a fishing rod. I'm a guy who survived war zones and won't let a suburban Karen ruin my nephew's smile. Tomorrow, I'm digging into the HOA's secrets, and I'm betting there's dirt under Nancy's perfectly manicured nails. Her throne's about to wobble, and I'm the one shaking it. Stick around, because this fight's just getting started, and Nancy's in for a wake-up call she'll never forget. My HOA is so clueless they'd fine a duck for swimming in its own pond. After Nancy Pritchard, Willow Creek's self-crowned empress slapped me with a $500 0 cents fine for fishing with my nephew Tommy. I'm not just mad. I'm on a mission. That smug, stay-informed Mr. Wilson still burns, and I'm not coughing up a dime for her petty power trip. I'm cracking her rulebook wide open, and I'm betting there's a skeleton or two in her HOA closet. Picture me, an Iraq vet turned suburban sleuth, ready to outsmart a Karen who thinks she's untouchable. Nancy's acting like she owns Lake Willow, but I've got a hunch her throne's built on quicksand. This fight's for Tommy's smile, for every neighbor sick of her nonsense, and for my own sanity. Got a Karen story of your own? Drop it in the comments. Let's swap war stories and laugh at the absurdity. I'm up at 2 a.m., my laptop glowing like a beacon in the dark, diving into HOA emails like I'm hunting for buried treasure. Nancy's fishing ban? Not a whisper in the inbox, not even in the spam folder she told me to check. I hit the HOA website, and it's a joke. One vague line about lake usage updates, clear as a mud pie. My IT security days kick in, and I'm scouring county records, my fingers flying like I'm defusing a bomb. If Nancy's hiding something, I'll find it, I mutter, half expecting her to pop up like a bad horror flick villain. Then, jackpot. Lake Willow, all 8 acres, isn't the HOA's. It's listed under Willow Creek Development, LLC, a company that went belly up 15 years ago during the housing crash. The lake's a forgotten treasure stuck in a bureaucratic black hole, unclaimed for over a decade. I lean back, heart racing. If the HOA doesn't own it, their fine's as legit as a $3 bill. Nancy's been strutting around, issuing rules for a lake she has no claim to, and I'm smelling a rat bigger than her ego. What's her game? Why ban fishing now? This isn't about wildlife, it's about control, and I'm just getting started. I need backup, so I call Sarah Reynolds, my old army buddy who traded combat boots for law books. Sarah, my HOA's fining me for breathing, I say, pacing my kitchen. She laughs. Mike, you always find trouble. Send me the docs. I email the county records, my mind spinning like a hamster wheel. Waiting for her call, I mow my lawn like it's an Olympic event, my phone burning a hole in my pocket. 3 hours later, she's on the line, her voice calm but electric. Mike, you're onto something big. The lake was never transferred to the HOA when the developer tanked. Your fine's a sham, they can't regulate what they don't own. I'm grinning like I just won the lottery. Then she drops a bombshell. As a veteran with an honorable discharge, you can claim that land through a state program for vets. You could own Lake Willow. I'm floored. Own a lake? That's nuts. She chuckles. Nuts, but legal. You'd have priority over any other claimants. My head's reeling. Me? A lake owner? It's like finding a golden ticket in a candy bar. But Sarah warns, Nancy's not gonna roll over. This could get ugly. I'm ready to play hardball, because if Nancy thinks she can bully me, she's about to meet a vet who's survived worse than her clipboard. Sarah and I huddle like we're planning a military op. Keep it quiet, Mike, she says. Nancy's a snake in the grass and we don't want her striking first. I nod, my old instincts kicking in. I install security cameras around my yard, quipping, my backyard's now Fort Knox, ready for Karen's invasion. Every clip backs up to the cloud. Old it habits die hard. Sure enough, an email lands from the HOA. All caps and attitude. Pay the $500 0 cents fine within 30 days or we'll slap a lien on your property. I smirk. Nancy's digging her own grave with that one. Sarah agrees. Let her think she's winning. We'll hit her with the claim when the time's right. I'm itching to storm the HOA office, but Sarah's cool head keeps me in check. Document everything, she says. Emails, threats, even Carl's wannabe cop stares. I'm playing chess, not checkers, and Nancy's about to find out I'm no pawn. Her rules are like a toddler's tantrum with bylaws, loud, messy, and totally baseless. I'm building my case, and every move she makes is another nail in her coffin. This lake's no man's land, and I'm staking my flag. I'm staring at my laptop, the county records glowing like a map to freedom. This lake's a forgotten prize, and I'm claiming it. Not just for me, but for Tommy. For every neighbor crushed under Nancy's heel. I'm not just fighting a fine, I'm dismantling her whole petty empire. Nancy thinks she's the queen of Willow Creek, but her crown's about to slip and I'm the one yanking it off. I can almost hear her gasp when she learns the lake's mine, her smug smirk wiped clean. Stick around, because this showdown's heading for an HOA meeting that'll make her wish she'd never picked a fight with a vet. Nancy's got no idea what's coming, and that's the best part. Her kingdom's crumbling, and I'm holding the sledgehammer. Got a hunch about what's next? Drop it in the comments and let's see if you're ready for the twist. Ever meet a Karen who thinks she's Cleopatra ruling with a clipboard instead of a scepter? Nancy Pritchard's got her beat. After slapping me with a $500 0 cents fine for fishing with my nephew Tommy, then doubling down with a lien threat, I'm done playing nice. My buddy Sarah, a lawyer sharper than a tack, and I are crashing the HOA meeting to flip Nancy's circus of tyranny upside down. I'm not just fighting for my wallet. I'm fighting for Tommy's smile, for every neighbor crushed by her petty fines, and for the truth about Lake Willow. Nancy thinks she's got me cornered, but I've got a secret she doesn't see coming, and it's gonna hit like a freight train. Picture this, a vet and a lawyer walking into an HOA showdown. Sounds like a bad joke, right? Who's tangled with an HOA and live to tell? Spill it in the comments and let's brace for the fireworks. Sarah and I stride into the Willow Creek Community Center, greeted by a crowd of retirees sipping coffee and parents looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. Nancy's at the front table, ruling like a dictator with a clipboard, her eyes narrowing as she spots me. Her husband Richard, a retired lawyer who fancies himself the HOA's legal guru, sits beside her, ready to spew jargon like a used car salesman pitching a lemon. The other board members, Gerald, the twitchy treasurer, and Elaine, the secretary who seems halfway decent, flank her like reluctant minions. I quip to Sarah, looks like Nancy's court is in session and Richard's the jester. She whispers, "Don't mention the late claim yet. Let's make her squirm first." I nod, feeling like we're soldiers scoping out enemy territory. The room buzzes with tension, neighbors muttering about fines and rules nobody remembers voting for. Nancy bangs her gavel, because of course she has one, and declares the meeting open, her voice dripping with that fake charm that makes my teeth ache. I'm ready to light a match under her throne, and Sarah's got the gasoline. Nancy wastes no time pointing a manicured finger my way. Violators like Mr. Wilson are ignoring our fishing ban, but rest assured fines are being enforced, she announces, like she's busting a crime ring. I stand, no permission needed, and fire back. Where's the notification, Nancy? I've got no emails, no signs. Nada! I wave a stack of printed HOA emails, grinning. I've got more of these than spam in my inbox, and not one mentions a fishing ban. Neighbors murmur, and an older guy in the back calls out, "I didn't get no notice either." Nancy's face flushes, but she snaps. "It was posted on the community bulletin board as per bylaws." I shoot back. "Checked it every day for a week. Zip, zero, zilch." Sarah leans in, cool as ice. Can you cite the specific bylaw allowing emergency rules without notice? Nancy fumbles her papers, looking like a bad magician botching a trick. Richard whispers frantically, but she pivots. The ban's part of our lake improvement plan with Blue Harbor Marina. New docks, controlled fishing, usage fees. The room gasps. Fees? For our lake? I pounce. So you're charging us twice for a lake our HOA fees already cover? Nancy's eyes narrow, and I know we've hit a nerve. The crowd's on fire now, neighbors shouting, "Fees? No way!" and "What's this marina nonsense?" I push harder. "Nancy, your fines could bankrupt a small country, and now you're double-dipping on our lake?" She sputters. "Premium docks cost money, Mr. Wilson. Progress isn't free." But the room's not buying it. Elaine, the board secretary, looks shocked, her pen frozen mid-note, like she's just realized she's in a clown show. An older woman stands. "My grandkids fish that lake every summer. Nobody told us it's banned." More voices join in. A chorus of fed-up homeowners smelling Nancy's BS. I think to myself, Nancy's circus is collapsing. And she's the only one who doesn't see it. Gerald, the treasurer, shifts uncomfortably, while Richard tries to throw legal jargon like a lifeline, but it sinks like a lead balloon. Elaine finally speaks. "Nancy, why weren't we informed about this marina deal?" The question hangs like a guillotine, and Nancy's like a cornered cat, hissing but trapped. The crowd's turning, and I'm loving every second. This is what happens when you poke a sleeping giant with a $500 0 fine. Sarah and I slip out as the meeting descends into chaos. Neighbors arguing and Nancy scrambling to regain control. In the parking lot, I tell Sarah, "File the claim, now." She nods. "Nancy's digging her own grave with that marina talk." The next day, Sarah marches to Nancy's doorstep and hands her a letter declaring I'm the legal owner of Lake Willow, backed by county records and my veteran's claim. I wish I'd seen her face, Sarah says. It was like watching a balloon pop in slow motion. Nancy didn't know her kingdom's built on sand, and now the tide's coming in. I'm buzzing thinking about how she's been lording over a lake she doesn't own, fining folks for breathing her air. Stick around, because this fight's about to explode, and Nancy's smug little empire is crumbling faster than a bad sitcom. What's your bet? Will she fold or double down? Drop it in the comments, and let's see how this Karen crashes. Oh, hi, man. Guess who's king of the lake? Not Nancy Pritchard. After Sarah dropped that letter declaring I own Lake Willow, Nancy's smug little world got rocked harder than a bad karaoke night. Her face probably cracked her Botox when she read, I'm the legal owner of the 8 acres she's been fining folks for breathing on. She thought she could bully me with her $500 0 fishing fine and marina schemes, but she didn't know the lake's never been hers. Talk about a plot twist. I'm an Iraq vet who's faced worse than her clipboard, and now I'm holding the deed to her precious kingdom. But Nancy's got secrets dirtier than a bait bucket, and I'm about to air her dirty laundry at a town hall that'll make her wish she'd stayed in her McMansion. Ever seen a Karen implode? Drop your predictions in the comments. This one's gonna be epic. A month later, the county hands me the deed, and I'm staring at it like it's a winning lottery ticket. Lake Willow, 8 acres, all mine. From a $500 0 fine for fishing with my nephew Tommy to a lake lord, life's got a wild sense of humor. My phone's blowing up with neighbors calling, Mike, is it true? You own the lake? I laugh. Yup, and I'm not Nancy. I'll share, but on my terms. They're buzzing, asking, can we fish again? What about picnics? I assure them we'll figure it out, but no more Karens taxing our fun. Meanwhile, Nancy calls an emergency HOA meeting, and it's a clown car crash. Elaine, the board secretary, who's starting to see through Nancy's act, demands, why didn't we know the lake wasn't ours? Neighbors pile on. Yeah, Nancy, what's the deal? She's stammering, blaming clerical errors and developer oversights. But the crowd's not buying her flimsy excuses. I'm not there, Sarah's orders to stay low. But I hear it's chaos, with Gerald the treasurer, sweating like he's hiding something too. Nancy's house of cards is wobbling, and I'm about to give it a final shove. Her marina talk at the last meeting's got my radar pinging. What's she really playing at? I organize a town hall at the community center, ready to lay it all bare. The place is packed. Retirees, families, Even kids with fishing rods, all fed up with Nancy's reign. I take the mic. You know me as the guy fined $500 0 cents for fishing with my nephew Tommy. Here's the truth. The HOA never owned Lake Willow. I found it in county records, unclaimed for 15 years, and as a vet, I claimed it legally. The crowd cheers. But I'm not done. Nancy's been fining us for a lake she doesn't control. And here's the kicker. She and her husband Richard own shares in Blue Harbor Marina's parent company. They stood to pocket $75,000, 0 cents from a deal to slap docks and fees on our lake. Without telling you! Gasps ripple through the room, and Diana, a local reporter I tipped off, stands up. I've got documents proving it! Nancy's cashing in on our lake! Residents explode, shouting, You lied, Nancy, and how dare you! Nancy, in the back row, stammers, It's just a small investment, nothing improper. But her voice drowns in the uproar, like a sinking ship's captain blaming the crew. Elaine's jaw drops, and even Gerald looks like he wants to bolt. I think Nancy's lies are crumbling like a bad cake, and the crowd's fury feels like justice on steroids. This is the moment they realize she's been playing them for fools. Nancy's not going down without a fight. She's too stubborn for that. The next day she calls me, hissing like a cornered rattlesnake. This is fraud, Wilson. Drop the claim or you'll regret it. I laugh. Check the deed, Karen. My name's on it. She hangs up, but my cameras catch her later that night, sneaking around, spray painting fraud on my new lake access signs. I report it to the sheriff, joking, Nancy's her own worst enemy. Caught red-handed like a kid stealing cookies. The footage goes viral in the neighborhood group chat, and folks are howling. Nancy's meltdown is peak Karen. She hires Howard, a slick lawyer who looks like he charges by the syllable, to file an injunction claiming I manipulated the county. Howard lets slip in a filing, my client's marina interests are incidental, and I'm like, gotcha, buddy. Sarah's grinning, that's admissible evidence of her conflict. Nancy's flailing like a toddler in a tantrum, and every move digs her deeper. I'm thinking, keep swinging, Nancy. You're just handing me more ammo. That Marina Dream's looking shakier than her story, and the courtroom's calling her name. Nancy's empire's crumbling, but she's not done fighting. She's too proud to quit. I'm savoring the chaos, knowing her marina scam's exposed and the lake's mine, but the legal battle's just heating up. Sarah's prepping for court, and I'm ready to watch Nancy's house of cards collapse for good. Her $75,000 0 cents betrayal's got the town buzzing, and Diana's news story is about to hit the local paper, turning her into the neighborhood pariah. I'm already planning what's next for Lake Willow. Something bigger than Nancy's ego. Something for Tommy, for vets, for all of us. Stick around, because this fight's heading for a courtroom showdown that'll sink her marina dreams once and for all. Will Nancy's lawyer pull a rabbit out of his hat, or is she toast? Drop your bets in the comments and let's see how this Karen's reign ends. Nancy Pritchard's reign is over. Long live the Lake King. After I dropped the bombshell that I own Lake Willow and exposed her $75,000 0 cents marina scam at the town hall, her ego sank faster than a lead canoe. The whole neighborhood's buzzing, Diana's news story is lighting up phone screens, and Nancy's caught in a spotlight hotter than her fake tan. But Karens don't quit easy. Her lawyer's gearing up for a courtroom brawl, and she's still hissing about fraud, like a snake with a grudge. I'm an Iraq vet who's faced bigger threats than her overpriced attorney, and with Sarah by my side, I'm ready to bury her schemes for good. Nancy thought she could find me $500, 0 cents for fishing with my nephew Tommy and cash in on our lake, but her tyrant's throne is crumbling. Ever seen a Karen get her comeuppance? Drop your cheers in the comments! This one's for the history books. We're in county court, and Nancy's lawyer, Howard, struts in like a peacock with no feathers, claiming I tricked the county into giving me the lake deed. He's all bluster, waving papers like they're magic wands, but Sarah's ready with a stack of documents thicker than a phone book. She lays out the facts. Willow Creek Development's bankruptcy, the lake's unclaimed status for 15 years, my veteran's claim, airtight, legal, done. Howard sputters. Mr. Wilson exploited a loophole. Sarah counters, your client enforced rules on property she doesn't own. check your facts. Judge Rodriguez, a no-nonsense woman with a glare that could melt steel, isn't impressed. The deed's legitimate, she rules. Verify your assets before finding residence. I quip to Sarah. Howard's all bark no bite, like a chihuahua in a suit. Then Howard slips, whining, "My client's marina interests were incidental." Sarah pounces. "That confirms her conflict of interest, Your Honor." The courtroom gasps, and Nancy's face turns redder than her lipstick. Her case is a paper tiger, shredded in minutes, and I'm grinning like I just caught the biggest fish in Willow Creek. The judge's gavel bangs and Nancy's last hope goes down in flames. Back in the neighborhood, Nancy's empire collapses faster than a bad sitcom. Sarah files an ethics complaint with the state HOA oversight board citing Nancy's $75,000 zero-cent marina conflict and Diana's front-page story in the local paper headlined, "HOA President's Lake Scam Exposed." Turns Nancy into a pariah. At an emergency HOA meeting, Elaine and Gerald, finally fed up, vote to boot Nancy from the board. Residents cheer good riddance as Nancy storms out, muttering about slander. She resigns the next day, selling her McMansion for $40,000. 0 cents less than market value. Nobody wants to buy from the neighborhood's Karen-in-chief. I laugh. Karma's got a mean right hook and Nancy's down for the count. The HOA, desperate to save face, votes unanimously to pay me $2.00 a month for lake access, a deal I propose to keep the peace. It's less than their old maintenance budget, and I'm not Nancy. I'll use it to make the lake a community gem, not a cash grab. Neighbors slap my back, saying, "Mike, you turned her fines into our freedom." Nancy's fines could have funded a small army, but now they're funding justice, and I'm loving every second of her downfall. The community's shifting, and it's like Willow Creek took a deep breath after years of holding it. Elaine steps up as interim HOA president, promising transparency and no more surprise fines. Neighbors rally around me, stopping by with coffee and gratitude, saying, "Mike, you saved our lake." I set ground rules: fish, picnic, boat. Just respect the lines. Kids are casting lines again, and retirees are lounging by the shore, no fear of Carl's wannabe cop patrols. I'm chatting with folks at the lake, hearing their stories, grandpas teaching grandkids to fish, parents planning barbecues, and it hits me. This lake's our heart, beating strong again. But I've got a bigger plan brewing, something beyond just fishing and picnics, something to honor Tommy's smile and every vet who's fought for freedom. I tell a neighbor, "This lake's for more than just me, it's for all of us." They nod, curious, and I'm keeping my cards close. But the gears are turning. Elaine's board is drafting new bylaws, and I'm pushing for community input, making sure Nancy's ghost doesn't haunt us. The lake's a community jewel now, and I'm ready to polish it into something epic. Nancy's gone. Her marina dreams sunk, but Lake Willow's just starting to shine. I'm standing on my land, deed in hand, thinking about Tommy casting his first line here, about neighbors laughing instead of stressing over fines. The $2,000 0 cents deal's a win, but it's not the end. Something bigger's coming, a way to give back to vets like me, to kids like Tommy, to this town that rallied behind me. Sarah's wrapping up the ethics probe and Deanna's sniffing out more dirt on Nancy's small investment, but I'm focused on what's next. This fight started with a $500 0 cents fine and a Karen smirk, but it's ending with a vision that'll outlast her. Stick around, because the lake's about to become more than a battleground. It's going to be a beacon of hope. What's your guess for my next move? Drop it in the comments, and let's see if you're ready for the grand finale. From a $500 of cents fine to a lake empire, life's got a wicked sense of humor. Nancy Pritchard, Willow Creek's fallen Karen, is licking her wounds in Florida, probably whining to her new HOA about mailbox colors. Her $75 0 cents marina scam's a distant memory, and I'm standing on Lake Willow, deed in hand, grinning like I just caught a record-breaking bat. This lake's bigger than any fine. It's a game changer for vets, for my nephew Tommy, for every neighbor who stood up to Nancy's tyranny. What started as a fishing trip gone wrong turned into a victory for all of us. And I'm not done yet. I've got plans to make this lake a haven of healing, a place where heroes find peace and kids like Tommy cast lines without fear of fines. Ever turned a bad day into something epic? Drop your story in the comments. Let's celebrate the wins. With Nancy gone, I launched the Lake Willow Veterans Retreat, turning my 8 acres into a sanctuary for those who've served. I'm no stranger to the scars war leaves, sleepless nights, ghosts that don't quit. So I opened the lake to vets and their families free of charge. I meet Joe, a Vietnam vet, who tells me, "Fishing here quiets my nightmares, Mike. Like the world's finally still." His words hit hard, and I know this is bigger than me. Tommy's my right-hand kid, volunteering to teach other children how to bait hooks, strutting around saying, "Uncle Mike's lake's the best." Local businesses step up, donating rods, tackle, and boats, while neighbors hammer together a pavilion, their laughter echoing across the water. I quip, Nancy wanted fancy docks. I got heart, and that's worth more. The retreat's a balm for weary souls, with vets casting lines beside their kids, finding smiles they thought were lost. Word spreads, and soon we're hosting dozens every weekend, the lake alive with chatter and hope. I'm thinking, this is what freedom feels like. No Karens, just community. The retreat's growing, and I'm already dreaming of expanding, maybe adding cabins, something to make this haven last. The neighborhood's transformed, like Willow Creek woke up from a bad dream. Ted, a no-nonsense retiree, takes over as HOA president, and we negotiate lake access like old buddies, joking, "No more Karen nonsense, right, Mike?" He laughs, "You got it, fair rules only." The HOA's $2,000 0 cents monthly payment funds maintenance, mowing, signage, cleanups, and I funnel the rest into a scholarship fund for vets' kids because education's a fight worth winning too. Residents embrace the retreat, volunteering to guide fishing trips or grill burgers for vet families. I walk the shore, seeing neighbors fishing, kids splashing, and old-timers swapping stories, and I reflect, this lake's our heart again, beating stronger than ever. The community's united, not just around the lake, but around a purpose. Honoring service, rebuilding trust. Ted's board holds open meetings and folks actually show up, tossing ideas like, how about a vet mentoring program? I'm nodding, thinking, Nancy's fines tore us apart. This lake's knitting us back together. The scholarship fund's already got applicants, and I'm proud to give back what Nancy tried to take. A year after that fateful fishing trip, Willow Creek throws a lake party that's half celebration, half reunion. The pavilion's decked out with flags and streamers, tables groaning under potluck dishes, meatloaf, casseroles, enough pie to feed an army. Tommy's bouncing around, helping kids cast lines, and I'm choked up watching him shine. The crowd gathers, and Ted hands me a mic, saying, "Mike, this is your day." I'm no speech guy, but I manage. "This lake's for Tommy, for vets, for all of us who said no to bullies." Then Tommy steps up, holding a plaque engraved, "Lake Willow, where service meets community." His voice cracks. "Uncle Mike, you made the lake awesome." I'm fighting tears, hugging him tight, and the crowd roars, clapping like we just won the Super Bowl. I reflect, Nancy's fine was a spark, but this is a miracle. The party rolls on, with music, laughter, and vets sharing stories by the water, their families grinning beside them. It's the fishing trip I promised Tommy, multiplied 1,000 times, and I know this lake's legacy is just beginning. Nancy's ghost is long gone, but Lake Willow's forever. A lighthouse for lost vets, a playground for kids, a heart for our town. I'm standing by the water, watching Tommy teach a vet's daughter to cast, and I'm thinking about how a $500 0 cents fine turned into something nobody could have predicted. The retreat's thriving, the scholarships are growing, and Willow Creek's stronger than ever. But I've got plans. Maybe a vet workshop, maybe more land. But for now, I'm just grateful. This fight started with a Karen smirk and ended with a community that fishes, laughs, and heals together. So, got an HOA horror story? Share it in the comments. Let's keep the lake free, the lines cast, and the Karens far away. Here's to Willow Creek, to Tommy, to vets, and to turning fines into forever. Who's ready to fish with no fine? Drop a cheer, and let's keep this legacy alive. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because tomorrow we have another incredible story and there are many surprises waiting for you in the next parts.